All right, you guys, we are now live. You should be able to see me full screen, and this is going to be recorded so you can watch it anytime you want to. So I'm Denyse. Hi, you guys. I'm so excited to be here with you. I see you guys all waving at me. So I am going to draw it out first. So I hope you have a pencil. I'm going to use black marker just so you can see it better on the camera. Okay, so I would sketch it out first, and the format I want you guys to have would be, it should be vertical or in portrait. Now you can totally change, but you can see my canvas is vertical, right? The other way would be horizontal. If you want to make your landscape horizontal, that's fine. It's just going to change it. But I would do it this way. Since we're doing a lighthouse, proportionately, you want it to be tall. All right. So I'm going to draw with marker. I'm going to go pretty slow. You guys use pencil. Don't worry if you make a mistake. About a third of the way from the bottom, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Are you guys good over there? I want to make sure you guys are good. Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Yeah, you guys are good? All right. So right around here, about a third from the bottom, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it doesn't have to be exactly a third from the bottom either. Roughly a third. And then after you guys do that, I'm going to, right around this area, sketch out the lighthouse. And before I do that, I want to give you guys a couple of, I don't want to confuse you, but I want to give you guys a little bit more inspiration. So I put a few other examples of lighthouses. So look, I want to show you real quick. There's one. So look at that one. That one has a beam of light. I heard some of you are really good artists and some of you are a little bit older. So maybe you want to add some details, the light, right? Even clouds or a little house. I'm just giving you inspiration. More stripes. So you can see on my sample, I have two. There's three on this one. The windows and the door are on the left side. I have one more sample for you. And there's another one with birds in the sky and rocks. So that, again, is just to help give you guys an idea of different ways you can do it. So if you want to change anything that I'm doing, of course you can. So I want you to customize it to your liking. All right, so now I'm going to sketch out the lighthouse right around this area. So I'm going to do that by doing a vertical line on this side, and it's going to slightly go out a little as I get to the bottom. And I'm going to do another vertical line here, like that. And I'm going to connect the bottom of those two vertical lines with a smile. So I'm going to go smile. Okay, so that would be the bottom of my lighthouse. And again, it's going to go into the ground, whether you make it a mountain or gray or you make it grass. That's the bottom of the lighthouse. Now here, this is where that railing is. So I'm going to make mine come a little bit farther out than my sample. So I'm just going to, again, do like another smile. Are you guys good? Here, I'm going to bring you on real quick. Are you good?
We're catching up. They need a minute to catch up.
The lighthouse again.
Wait,
I'll start it again.
Denyse, can we just pause where we are so everybody can catch up a little bit?
Sure, sure.
I see the marker. No, but that's
Hey, baby, what pencil?
Does anybody have black? Emilia. I'm asking for a
You guys are having a party over there.
This part.
Wait, what is
All right,
All right,
everybody.
so we're like just kind of starting. We didn't even start.
So
Just
then-
cover that.
Callie, where were you gonna sit? Here or
I'm
there?
gonna sit here. It's
No, I
fine.
got a snack table.
It's okay. Don't worry, really, I'm gonna stay here so I can also chat with her.
All right, so we have to do the lighthouse.
Sorry.
I'm done. Wait, Denise, is this good?
It's don't tell her why.
Doesn't matter if I gave
She's like,
Yeah, it's universal, so if you like-
All right, you guys are good. Again, so this is the horizon, so that's your horizontal line. Then I did 2 vertical lines with the smile connecting them, right? And here I'm gonna, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm only doing it in marker so you can see it on the camera. I highly recommend you use a pencil. You can't erase a marker. And if you're doing it on canvas, the only way to fix it would be to paint over it. And you guys, I've done this numerous times, so it's easier for me to do it on camera with a marker. That's why I would not recommend you going and drawing it for the first time with a marker. I'm just doing it that way so you can see it better. So I would definitely sketch it out with pencil. So again, that's it. I did 1 line, 2 vertical lines, connected the bottom. Now I'm going to do the railing on the lighthouse. And I'm going to do vertical, vertical. And I'm going to connect it with another smile. So it curves, smile. And then your little railing lines. And it comes up and it tapers in, so it gets slightly narrower as you come up. So I'm going to just finish it, the lighthouse right there. And then you can simply put the top of it like a triangle, or you can do it like the one photo I showed you where the light is inside of it, so the beam. So I'm going to do it a little bit different where I'm going to add the light. So I'm going to put a triangle up here. So this one, again, I'm going to add a light in this one. So that would just be a circle. And the circle would be the beam of light coming out. And we can do that later. So it's almost the same. And if you want to add just a little vertical line, and maybe a little circle to the top, these are just little details. And we could always add these in later. Now, if you don't want it to be a sunset, you want to put a moon in the sky, that's fine too. But the sunset is what gives you those beautiful colors that you're going to see in the sky. So I am going to do the mountains. And again, your mountains can go up as high as you want. From one side down. Okay, you're going to make the mountain come over to your lighthouse and then off the other edge. So mine came right to the bottom. I could make it go up a little bit, like here. So you can make yours come to the bottom of it, or it can go up higher. So you see the difference here. This one comes up a little bit higher. You guys can add those windows if you want to on the lighthouse as well, with like little squares. Or your lighthouse doesn't even have to have windows. It's up to you. You can put a little door down there so people can get in the lighthouse. And then your sun is setting, right? So it's like a half a circle. And you can make it as big or as small as you want it to be. So here's my half a circle setting. And if you want, you can draw the shoreline. It's a, again, just sketch it out. We'll fill it in with paint, but it's a rough line that starts here and it comes out. So it would be getting closer to you, like the sand and the water. So again, that would be the beach, and this would be the water. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you guys want to leave your lighthouse white or gray or any color you want to, that's fine. If you want to add the stripes to your lighthouse, you can add the stripes. You can, let's just say I did 2 red ones. Let's try 3 on this one. So I could do, it's kind of curved. I'll just make it a little different. I'll make it a little bit more detailed. And again, you could always do the stripes in it later or no stripes at all. How you guys doing? How's it going over there?
It's okay, Dalia.
How does this look? Mommy,
Good.
Yeah, she said it's good, honey.
I can.
It feels leathery.
You like mine on?
I think it looks wonderful.
All right, so you guys, I see all those awesome acrylic paints. So the one thing that I love about acrylic paint is that it's opaque, which means it's not see-through. Now, I don't know, I couldn't tell on your table if you had already put the colors out, but you know, you can put little spots of them on your plate. So squeeze out a little bit of white, a little bit of black, a little bit of blue, primary colors, red, yellow, blue, okay? Don't water it down. If you already wet your brush, dry it off on a paper towel. So unless you want a real transparent look like watercolor paint, you don't want to water down your paint, okay? So every time you wash off your brush, I want you guys to dry it off. And it doesn't have to be really dry, but you want to get all the excess water off, okay? So when we start to paint, again, if you switch colors, I want you to wash it off in a cup of water and then dry it off on a paper towel. So we don't want to water down the acrylic paint. We want it to be a little bit thicker and we want it to be opaque, which means not transparent. Whenever you guys don't worry about your drawing being perfect. That was just a sketch to give you an idea, okay? When we go over with the paint, you can add more details and fix any lines that you have. So I want you to take a nice brush, maybe a medium-sized brush. Tiny is really good for detail. So don't wet the brush, just dip it in the blue paint, okay? So find your blue paint, dip your brush in there, and I want you guys with horizontal brush strokes to start painting your water in. Look at that. I'm using horizontal brush strokes. You can start at that horizon line right there. So blue paint, no water, horizontal brush strokes. And I'm not going to mix it on my plate. I'm just going to scoop up some white. So that's what my brush looks like. Look at that. It's got blue and white, and I'm going to mix it right on my canvas. So look at the blue and the white, and I'm going to put it right on my canvas, and I'm going to do horizontal brush strokes. I like those streaks of color. That's why I'm not pre-mixing it on my plate. Because I think it looks cool like that. Now, you don't want to keep going over and over and over because then you're going to lose those cool lines. Watch this. If I keep going over this and over this and over this, it's going to turn into one color. But I don't want it to be one color. I like the streaky lights and blues in there. So that's why, again, you scoop up the paint and then you put a little bit of white right on there like that. White and blue right on my brush. And then I mix it right on my canvas with horizontal brush strokes. If you want that turquoisey blue-green color in your water, you can mix. Again, don't wash off your brush. Just scoop up some green on your brush and add it right in there. So again, you get those lines of color. Greens and blue with some white. I like to paint the edge of my canvas so then you don't have to worry about framing it. So you guys can wrap that paint around the side of your canvas. See that? You don't have to, but I think it looks better if you do that. Horizontal brush strokes for the water. So I have not touched my water to rinse off my brush yet. I just keep adding color and mixing it right on my canvas. And wherever, again, look, I just keep adding some white to my brush. So wherever I want those white highlights of the water, I just add a little bit more on and then I leave it. Don't keep going over it and over it and over it. And again, you can always go back to it later. Don't overwork it. Don't go over it too much because we want it to dry because we're going to put the sunset reflection on it. While you have the blue on the brush, you guys can make go above the lighthouse tower, and you can do the top of the sky above the lighthouse with that same blue. I haven't even washed off my brush yet. I'm just going to do the top part of the sky. Again, same blues, white, don't even wash off your brush. Just do the top part here while you have the blue on your brush. So you could do some blue, some white, horizontal brush strokes. If you have those little speckles of white texture, it's because you're not using enough paint. So if you can see the texture of the canvas, add more paint. And again, I'm going to wrap it around the side. How you guys doing?
Everybody, okay?
We're good.
Stop, but you gotta blend in your ocean a little
It
more.
was.
It looks good though. That's nice. If I can
No,
do that.
I did better at it.
Awesome. You guys are doing great. And again, you guys can use those horizontal brush strokes, wrap it around, get the top and the sides of your canvas. And we're going to let that dry. And it'll dry pretty quick. So we're going to not do the rest of the sky right now because I don't want the orange, red, and blue to bump into each other. So if I got orange in with that blue sky, it would turn brown. And I don't want a brown sky. I want it to be bright, like the sun is reflecting all those pretty colors. So now when you're done with the blues, okay, and again, we can always add more to it later. Now you can wash it off and dry it off. So rinse off your brush, dry it off on a paper towel. And then we're going to do the same thing with the horizontal brush strokes, but we're going to use brown now, okay? And I want you guys to leave a crack of white in between the brown paint and the water. It doesn't have to be perfect, but my blue is still wet. So I don't want to bump into my blue. So just leave and we're going to put white paint in there later. But right now I want you to paint brown horizontal brush strokes and leave a little crack of the white canvas showing so you don't bump into the blue. All right, so I'm going to do brown. Now this is just flat brown, right? It's just plain, boring brown. I'm going to leave, I just want you guys to see. I'm going to leave a crack of white. And again, I'll put the water white in there later, but I don't want to bump into my wet blue. But see how boring that is, that flat brown? So I want to put some white in there. So I'm going to take that brush, dip some white in it. Same thing, mix it right on your canvas. Don't even do it on your plate. Just do it right on your canvas. Horizontal brush strokes. You want it to be a little bit streaky again. Try not to bump into your blue. If you do, we can fix it. Don't worry about it. Accidents happen all the time. It's not a big deal. That's one of the other reasons why I love acrylic paint is you can cover your mistakes. Watercolor paint, since it's transparent, even if you paint over it, you're still going to see through it. With acrylics, you can paint over anything and it'll cover it, which is awesome. So again, brown and white, horizontal brush strokes. Cover up that texture of the canvas. And you can make your own brown. If you have, you could buy brown, right? Or you guys can mix brown with mixing orange together with a little bit of black or a little bit of blue. It's always fun when you mix a bunch of colors together, you can get a nice brown too. And you can also buy brown. And again, I'm really not too worried about that crack because I'm going to paint it in with white paint later. I just don't want to get the wet blue in my sand. I'm going to put a little bit more white in mine. Maybe a little more white right here. I'm trying to figure out my pattern of my lighthouse. So I'm going to do the red next whenever you guys are ready. No rush. Wash off your brush, dry it off again. And you don't even have to have red on your lighthouse if you don't want it. Okay. Again, you could just do your lighthouse white or gray. I like the red look to it. So I'm going to do, that's pretty dark. I have a better red. So sometimes you guys on camera, my colors look a little bit different. And that red looks pretty dark. Let's see. That one's pretty, I have a lot of reds here. So I love Michael's paint too. This is Flow acrylic. So it's a medium bodied acrylic paint. This red, and this is just called, I'm sure, yeah, bright red. Okay. All right, don't look, I'm just putting it right in the, but it's going to be a little bit brighter than this other one. It just went out of the line. And again, you could put a door or you don't have to have a door. Now you can see it's a little bit brighter. See, it's brighter than the other red. So if I wait for that darker one to dry, I can paint over it with the brighter red. But no one would even know. So no one knows your mistakes but you and whoever you tell, right? So no one would probably even really notice that this dark red was a mistake. It just comes out darker on camera than it does in person. And I'm really not even going to worry about if I get paint inside my windows because I'm going to do black, which would totally cover it up, right? And I'll do red again here. We'll make this one a little bit more. When you guys start doing the colors of the sunset, you can add more than yellow, red, and orange. If you love pink, make some pink by mixing red and yellow or not red and yellow make orange. But if you mix some red and some white together, you'll get a pretty pink, which of course there's always pinks and purples in a sunset in the sky. So again, you can change the colors in the sky to, make it the way you like it. So you could even make the whole sky blue and purple if you want to. So it's your artwork. If you love blue and purple, do the whole sky blue and purple. But I'm going to do yellow, orange, some red again. And so when you guys are done with the red in the lighthouse, and don't make it too thick. We're going to let it dry again so that we don't smudge it. And acrylic paint dries pretty quick. So what I'm going to do this part now, because my blue sky here is pretty dry, right? So yours should be pretty dry. So if you bump into it, it won't get into the orange. And if you do it, it does, we'll paint over it. And again, no rush. When you guys are ready, wash off your brush, dry it off. And I would do like some yellow and some white. Now, white softens it up so it's a little bit more pastel. If you want it to be really bright, just use the straight yellow. And again, you guys are going to start here around the sun, right? And don't worry if you get inside the sun because we're going to paint over that anyway. So right now, all I have on my brush is some yellow and white. Be careful of that red in the lighthouse. You could even put a little bit of the yellow over here. So I just got some red on my brush from the Lighthouse. Look, I'm just going to mix it in. You won't even know. So if you bump into it and you get a little red in there, just mix it in. I'm going to do just like I did before. I'm not even going to wash off my brush. I'm just going to, so you can make orange with yellow and red. You can also buy orange. Orange is a secondary color. And I'm just going to use some horizontal brush strokes. If you want to soften it up, again, add a little bit of white to it. And even if you get in the mountains over here, it's not a big deal because we're going to go over that with gray and black. So don't worry about it. So I'm blending it in. And if you want it to be a softer color, add white. So when you add white paint to the color, you are going to get a tint, T-I-N-T. So a tint is a value. So I'm just, again, I'm making it not too intense. So I added a little bit of white to it and I'm mixing it with horizontal brush strokes. Same thing over here, right? I like the yellow tone down. I don't want it to be too yellow. If you love yellow and you like that yellow look, that's great. Again, this is your artwork, so I want you to use your favorite colors. Now I'm going to paint right through my railing here because the sky is going to show through part of the railing, right? So we can paint right over that. We know that the sky is going to butt up to that lighthouse. So like here, you know, you want to see through the railing on the edge, the part that sticks out. Oh, I froze. No, I lost you. I do not see you guys anymore. So I'm still live on YouTube. So you guys should definitely connect to YouTube and you can click the StreamYard link again. So can you guys see me on YouTube? Okay, I'm going to put some more orange in here. I accidentally bumped into the blue. So I got a little, when I mix the blue and the orange together, I'm getting a brown, but I want it to be pretty bright. And again, no one's going to know that that was a mistake. There you are.
Exactly.
All right,
Hi.
just starting to do the sky.
All right, guys,
Yeah, we haven't even started.
Guys.
Oh, sure, it's heard the orange.
The sky, the yellow and white.
All right, you guys. So yellow and white and orange. And I'm just what you guys were doing before. I'm using horizontal brush strokes, right? Yellow, white, orange, horizontal brush strokes. If you want it to be more pastel or softer colors, add more white to it. But you want to see those streaks of color. What happened to my white? Again, if you want it to be bold and bright, don't add too much white to it. If you want it to be really soft, add more white. So more white paint's going to make it look pastel. It's a tint, T-I-N-T. When you add white to your paint, it becomes a tint, which is a value of the color. So horizontal brush strokes all the way up to your blue. If your blue's wet, be careful. My blue is dry. Again, you can add orange, you can add yellow, you can even put red in there. Horizontal. If your blue is wet and you get it in your sky, you're going to end up with a brown sky. If you want to make pink and put pink in your sky, you can do that too. And of course, you want to finish it over here. So I would not add too much red to your sky so that you have the contrast in the background with the red stripes if you did red stripes on your lighthouse. So really, I haven't used any red. I just used yellow, orange, and white in my sky in this part where the sun is setting. And don't forget, you want to have a little bit of that yellow and orange in here over that guardrail because you want to be able to see the little bit of the sky through it. And just with that same brush, whenever you guys are ready, you can fill in your sky. And again, you can make your sky as bold and yellow. So I just used that same dirty brush and scooped up more yellow. And I'm painting right over that black line. So if you guys have a pencil line, paint right over that. And then you decide how bold you want the sky or the sun. Now remember, the sun should be more bold than the background. So we want our sun to stand out. So right now I just have yellow on there, but I do have some of that orange still on my brush. So look at how it kind of faded into the sky, right? I want to see more of it. So I'm going to scoop up some orange. I'm not even going to wash off my brush. I'm just going to scoop up some orange and wisp in some horizontal brush strokes. And I went out of the line a little bit. So you can, again, you can re-outline it. But I want my sun to stand out from my background. And it's still, you could add a little bit of red. I'm going to put a little bit of red in there because it's still blending a lot into my background. See how the red makes it stand out? So I'm just outlining the edge of it there. And then I'm going to blend it in with horizontal brush strokes. See, now it's popping. So I needed to put that red in there because it's a little bit darker, right? Horizontal brush strokes. And it, even, you know, I can let this dry and go back into it with a little bit more yellow if I want to. You could highlight it with some yellow. You could highlight the sun with some white. And then when you guys, oh, I hope you guys didn't lose me again. When you guys like the sun colors, you can add the reflection down here in the water. So if you want, you can do the reflecting here in the water. All right, you guys. So now I am going to do the reflection of the sun in the water. So again, you can be using yellow and orange, horizontal brush strokes. Horizontal brush strokes. Horizontal brush strokes. And you, again, you don't want it to be like a perfect half circle reflection. You want it to be wispy lines, wispy lines like this. And you, again, you can put some orange in there. You can put some red in there. So now to me, that's getting too solid. So what, again, I'm going to go back into it with more black lines. I'm not black, blue, but I have to let it dry. But I'm going to let's put a little red in there too. Maybe that'll, yeah, that red breaks it up. So I just put some more red wispy lines in there. And you guys can do the mountains brown. I'm going to do mine gray. So you can do black and white. So black and white, and make it as dark or as light as you want it. You just want to make it so that you have contrast from the brown ground. So to me, that's a little bit too dark right there. And then while I have the gray on my brush, I could do the roof. And if you want to make, your lighthouse a gray, I would do a much lighter gray here. So even that's too dark. Again, that to me is too dark, so I'm going to put some more white in there. We can let that dry. I'm just going to paint right over that. We can add that railing back in. And then again, you guys can always add the details with a marker when it's dry. This would be the light. So we can do the railing in black, but you can always do it when it's dry. So that's the little railing. And you can make it as detailed as you want to. And again, if you want to do the beam of light, you can do some yellow. Here, you could do some yellow, you can do some white. Right here, I'll put a little blob of yellow. That's my light in the white half. And you can always outline it too. If you can't, if it's not showing up, great. You can always outline the outside of it so it shows up a little better. You can do the windows. And you can add, again, the water and some white. So get some white paint and you can do, let's do this part because it should be dry. Just some little white, rough, horizontal lines overlapping the sand and the water, because that'll be the edge, and you can make it come out a little bit into the water. So again, I'm using horizontal brush strokes. And you don't want it to be too, like you don't want it to be too perfect. And you want that same effect horizontally. So here. And again, be careful of the wet paint. Just go horizontally. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And again, you can highlight it. You can highlight the roof up here so it's a little bit lighter on one side, right? So since the sun is setting on this side, then the highlight would be on this side of your lighthouse. Oh, and don't forget the door. So right now I have the door white. Let's make it black. Or you don't even have to have a door. You could just do the whole bottom part of it. I'm gonna make this a little rougher there. Again, anywhere you feel like you need to outline it, go ahead and outline it. I could even make my mountain come up a little bit higher over here, or over here. You guys decide, all right? Let me know if you have questions, send me photos. All right, you guys, you can add, again, you can even add, let me just add one more little detail here. A little line here, you know, at the top. And if you want a little texture, so I'm just putting like little dots in there. So add as much details as you want. You guys could also always put like a little sailboat here. You could put a little sailboat in the water. You could put fish in the water. You could put a bucket with a shovel in the sand. So think outside the box, come up with other ideas. Here, let me see. Here's another one I have with no red stripes, right? So that one is a little bit different. So yours is not going to look exactly like mine. All right, you guys, thank you so much. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. Thank you.